Okay. Can you all hear me? Somebody give me a message. Okay. Yes. Welcome to the call. All right. Thank you all. Awesome. Awesome. Got a bunch of people on here, a bunch of rock stars ready to learn. I love it. Okay. So welcome to the role play call. And I'm happy to be here. Again, my name is Doug Leugers. I run the Atlanta CINC University training. The script that we teach and use, that's me. I helped design that thing. And it's based on the book Start With Why. I'm happy to be going over this stuff with you guys and sharpening those skills, those sales skills, and get you guys rocking and rolling. Want to share with you some things that are very useful to you. And let's talk pre-game ritual. Pre-game ritual. Who here has pre-game rituals before they even get in on the call? Who works on getting their mindset right? Who's got pre-game ritual? Reach out and let me know. Tell me what your pre-game rituals are. While you're doing that, Debbie raised her hand. She must have a pre-game ritual. While you're doing that, I'll share with you some of my pre-game rituals. Every day during the week, my wife and I get on YouTube, and I've created a list of, I don't like to call it motivational. I think motivation's crap, but a bunch of videos that are from really good speakers, like Ed Milet's, Jesse Itzler's, Hal Elrod. I'm sure you all have heard a lot of these names. And one of the things we do every morning is we get our kids together and we get in front of the TV, pull up YouTube, and we watch one of these videos. It's usually about 30 minutes to 60 minutes. And we learn from it and take notes. The kids take notes and we talk about it afterwards. Now, why we do this is we're working on getting our mindset right every day before we go and conquer our day, right? It's hard to get out of bed, right? So one of the things we do to help combat that and get in the right mindset and go crush it is watch this YouTube video. So the reason I bring it up is I want to know what your all's pregame rituals are, and just talk to you about the importance of a pregame ritual before you ever get on the phone. Okay. How do you destroy your own negative mindset before you ever jump on the phone call? How do you influence other people if you're in the wrong mindset, right? So this is a writer downer. A good video for you to watch that I watched today was Hal Elrod's 2020 keynote speech that he gave at WSOS, which stands for World Series of Success. World Series of Success. He gave a keynote speech. So if you get a chance, go and watch that, and just share some of the notes that I got today from that. He talked about being happy in the moment. Find a place inside of you that's grateful to be alive. You have everything you need, he said. I'll challenge you to say that everyone in here has everything they need to be happy. Happiness is a choice, and it comes from being, looking inward, right? Not worrying about the outward things, the things that you can't control. So he talked about normal people having a gut check every 10 years. And wow, that hit home. He said, when you're 20 years old, you want to go and conquer the world, right? You want to go conquer the world. And he said, by the time I'm 30, I'm going to be a millionaire, or whatever your big goals are. And then you get to 30 and you're like, oh, shoot, not quite where I thought I would be. And then you get to 40 and you're like, holy crap, where's time going, right? And so he talked about having that gut check every 10 years and the importance of creating urgency. Now, here's a really big one. Urgency within yourself is obviously very, very important, right? You got to create an urgency within yourself. And we also have to, when we're on the phone with leads, buyer leads and seller leads, we have to create urgency within them, right? So how do you create urgency? One thing that I like to share when I am at when I'm at CINC and I'm training, I usually tell the story of the 2x4, and I'll share this with you in case you haven't heard this before. But if I put a 2x4 right beside you on the ground, and I said, I'll give you $100 to walk across this 2x4, how many of you would do it? The answer is probably 100%. Anthony, the YouTube video is How Elrod, and it's How Elrod, and it says 2020 keynote speech at WSOS, World Series of Success. And it's one of his latest videos, so you'll see it on there. So how do you create that urgency? I got that 2x4 laying right beside you, and I'll give you $100 if you walk across it. 100% of people, majority of the time, say yes, I'll walk across that 2x4 for $100, no brainer. And then I say, well, what if I took the 2x4 and I set it across 2 buildings, across 2 skyscrapers? I said, I'll give you $100. Will you walk across that 2x4? And there's always 1 or 2 that are like, yeah, I'd walk across it, the crazy ones of the world. But generally 99% of people are like, no, I would not walk across that 2x4. Okay. Why would I walk across that? That's crazy. But if I take that 2x4, put it across 2 skyscrapers, and then I ask everybody to close their eyes and think about 1, 2, 3 most important people in your life. Think about those people. And once you have those people, we're going to take those people, whether it's your kids, your mom, your dad, anybody, and we put those people on the other skyscraper opposite of you, and we light the skyscrapers on fire, and we say, now $100, we cross that 2x4, and almost 100% of people say, yes, I'll find a way to cross that 2x4. And the reason, and I guess the question is, what changed? What changed? And the answer is always gives the reasons changed, which is true. The reasons have changed. So a couple things there. Your reasons have to change when you're making your phone calls. Your reasons have to be powerful enough that you'll go through any type of pain to get to where you want to go, right? So your reasons have to be strong enough, okay? And then we were talking about urgency. Well, urgency is the fire. How do you create the fire in you every day? How do you create the urgency in you every day and have strong enough reasons for you to plow through all of the no's and all of the people telling you no, and all the discomfort and everything that surrounds prospecting and making phone calls every day? So that's what you need to do is create urgency in your life, create urgency, and create strong enough reasons for you to prospect and plow through the pieces of resistance. So when I talk about pieces of resistance, what I'm talking about there is when people tell you no, that's a piece of resistance, right? We already know that people are looking for homes. We already know that. They're on our website looking at homes. That's a given. They're going to buy a home at some point in time. Majority of the people that are on our website. It's just a matter of who gets to them first and who builds the relationship first with these people. So Hal talked about creating urgency in your life. And then the next thing is creating urgency in your customers' lives. How do we create urgency there? Well, in our script, the number one most important thing that we want to get out of every conversation is why. We want to know why. So if you haven't read the book Start With Why, I highly, highly recommend that you go get the book Start With Why. And then I also highly recommend that you get the follow-up book, Find Your Why. Both these books are written by CINC. And Start With Why talks about the importance and what talking about the why does, what parts of the brain are affected when you're talking about the why with someone, and or when you're thinking about your why. And then Find Your Why is a workshop type book where you'll need a partner, somebody that doesn't know you, that can't be a spouse or anything like that, but somebody that you know that is good at question asking, that can help you dig deep and find your why. And once you go through that process, it becomes easier to understand what kind of conversation you need to have with people, leads, when you're trying to influence them to use you to find their next home or sell their next home. And then next, he talked about being in control of your internal state. He said, be in control of your internal state. You can't control your external stimuli. And then he talked about the 5-minute rule. be negative, bitch, moan, and complain. But after 5 minutes, stand up and say, if I can't change it, I can't change it, exclamation point. And then I can't change the past. So focus on what's in my control and then move forward. So that's as far as I got in the video today. We watched the first 30 minutes. I'm going to watch the next part tomorrow, but that in and of itself is powerful enough to get us started here. So we're going to do some role play. Let's jump into this. Let's sharpen each other's axes and use me and abuse me. Here we are. Let's get let's crush some of those fears and do some role play here. So who on the call wants to do some role play? Raise your hand if you want to do some role play. I can stay on here an hour if you want, or let's see. Oh, we're getting some people. Let's see. Dee raised her hand. Let's see. Give me a second here. Okay, attendees. Dee raised her hand. I saw you raise your hand first. I'm going to allow you to talk. Here you go. Dee, can you hear me? Dee, you there? I got you unmuted. Dee, can you hear me? There you are. I think I'm starting to hear something now. Can you hear me, Dee? Okay. Dee, we're going to circle back around here in a minute and come back to you, okay? Let me try someone else here and see if I can hear them. One moment. Victoria, well, unmute you. Victoria, there? If y'all can hear me, just stand by one moment. It seems like we may be having a technical issue here. I'm trying to unmute. All right, that did not work. Dee, can you hear me? There you are. Dee, can you hear me now? No. All right, well, let's go to the next person. Green, next up. Let's see if we can get this to work. Green, can you hear me? Hello, Green. Who's Green? There we are. I can hear someone. Are you there?
This is Vicky. Can you hear me?
Vicky, I can hear you. Okay, let's rock and roll. I don't know what was going on there, but it's working now. Okay.
I figure you go to in the settings general, and then you can, I don't know how I did it now. Somehow I unmuted myself. So.
Oh, okay. So I allow to talk, and then the person has to unmute themselves. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for figuring this out with me, Vicky. You ready to do some role play?
Yes, never done this before. And
oh, awesome.
Jumping in, I'm a brand new agent, so
okay.
I'll give it a shot.
All right. Awesome. Well, tell me a little bit about yourself. What market you in?
I'm in the Palm Beaches, Florida.
Okay,
area.
Cool. Awesome.
I'm in West Palm Beach is where I'm going to farm my area.
Awesome.
Work out of the Palm Beach Gardens office.
Okay, and you're new at this, huh?
Yes.
All right, cool. So have you made any calls yet?
A few, yes.
Okay. Have you been to CINC University or Conversion Day yet?
No.
Okay. This is just an abbreviation. I mean, a small abbreviation of what happens at CINC University. And I'm not going to go into a lot of detail, but get there. You will love it. Okay.
Okay.
We'll turn into a sales machine on the phone. So, all right. So what script have you been trained to use so far?
Well, I'm just starting going through the training, so I'm just jumping in on these calls that I'm being invited to and seeing what I can learn. So I'm looking at this buyer script in front of me here on the screen.
Okay.
It's not all the way loaded. Oh, okay.
I'm going to make this, let me see if I can change the view here. So full screen so you can see most of it. And let's start right here. Be sharp as a tack, enthusiastic as hell, and a figure of authority. Okay. Sharp as a tack, enthusiastic as hell, and a figure of authority. Every buyer wants convenience, affordability, and selection. So the idea is to get someone to the point where they beg you for what you're selling, and more importantly, they believe it was their idea. All right, so the script is designed to talk about people's why, and it looks way more complicated than it really is. There's three things that you want, three chief things that you want on every single call, Vicky. It's why, when, and what. So if you're for everyone on the call, a writer downer is WWW. Okay, when you look at a script can be um, intimidating. Script can be intimidating because you try to memorize everything on that script. Well, you don't have to memorize everything on a script. The only thing that you need to memorize is the opening line and then why, when, and what. And I'll show you it in action, okay? We'll get through that on this call. So why, when, and what? So the opening line is the most, to me, is the most important thing in a call, right? Because you got to open up with the right tonality and get people's attention right out of the gate. That's so important. This goes back to the mindset and getting started. You have only like less than 3 seconds now to get someone's attention on the phone. We are so distracted as a society. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes.
So we're so distracted. We have so little time to get somebody's attention. And how we get somebody's attention is right in that opening line. And the opening line here is super simple. So I don't know how you've been trained yet, Vicky, if you've been trained at all on how to make the calls, but most companies, most people train to have agents call and say their name and what company they're from, what website the lead came on, all this other stuff. We're going to cut through all that, okay? From now on, I only want you to ask questions that you want the answers to, okay? I want you to be the strong prospector, strong telemarketing type person, being able to close any deal, right? So here's how our opening line goes. It goes, hey, it's Doug. I see you're on my website looking in the Fort Myers Beach area. I was just curious, are you looking to move in the next 3 to 6 months, or are you just browsing? So that's it. It's super simple. I saw you were on my website looking in whatever area. And so you're in West Palm Beach. So it's, hey, this is Vicky. I see you're on my website looking in the West Palm Beach area. I was just curious. Are you looking to move in the next 3 to 6 months, or are you just browsing? So if you look at the script there, do you see how the word curious is capitalized?
Uh-huh.
The reason I did that is because you have to have curiosity in your tonality. One of the biggest mistakes that people make when they're using the script and calling people is their tonality doesn't match the words that they're saying. And so there's a whole psychology to it, but you want to make sure that you are saying you're curious in your tonality, because that's more powerful than the words you say.
Interesting.
Yes. Everybody tries to focus on the words and like, I got to get the words right. And it's not the words, it's your tonality that's more important than your words. Okay. So, hey, this is Vicky. I see you're on my website looking in West Palm Beach area. I was just curious. Are you looking to move in the next 3 to 6 months, or are you just browsing? So I want you to nail that opening line, and then I want you to hit why, when, and what. Okay. That's what we're going to focus on. And how do you do that? So Vicky, when we open up with and we ask a customer or a lead, are you looking to move in the next 3 to 6 months, or just browsing? What do you think they say?
Just browsing.
Exactly. Same thing you say when you're walking into Home Depot, right?
Yeah.
Just browsing. Okay. Yeah. So you say, I'm just browsing. And then that's when you reply back and say, awesome. Just curious. What are you browsing for? The reason we ask them 3 to 6 months or just browsing is because we want to control the situation. This is another important part of this opening line. When I said ask questions you want answers to, I asked them this question: Are you looking the next 3 to 6 months or just browsing? Because it doesn't matter what they say to me. I already know what I want to say next.
Mhm.
It's being in control of the conversation. Okay. We say, awesome. Just curious what you're browsing for, and what you're trying to do is get them to say a what. So if they hesitate and they say, well, I'm looking, or I'm just browsing, say, okay, are you looking for 3 bedrooms or 4? And the only reason I'm asking them if they're looking for 3 bedrooms or 4 is just so I can ask them why behind it. Okay. So let's do this. I'm going to do a role play with you, and I'm going to be the agent and you be the buyer, and then we'll reverse it. Okay. And I'm going to give you some talk. We'll get some coaching in there. Is that cool?
Sure.
All right. Hey, you ready? We'll go ring, ring. So it's ring, ring. Hey, it's Doug. I see you're on my website looking in the Fort Myers Beach area. Hey, I was just curious. Are you looking to move in the next 3 to 6 months, or are you just browsing?
I'm just browsing.
Awesome. Just curious, what are you browsing for?
Not quite sure. Maybe. Oh, do you want me to say? Oh, it's not written here.
Yeah,
Uh,
make something up.
uh, um, Probably a condo, something kind of small.
Condo, something kind of small. Awesome. Tell me more about the condo. Can you describe what kind of condo you're looking for me?
I don't want to have any stairs.
You don't want to have any stairs. Interesting. What's important to not having any stairs for you?
I just like everything on one level.
Oh, you just like everything on one level? Awesome. Okay, cool. How many bedrooms in your condo are you looking for?
Two.
2 bedrooms. Awesome. Okay, 2 bedrooms. Tell me a little bit more about the condo. Can you describe what the perfect condo looks like for you?
Um, well, it's I don't want anything old, something newer, and more up to date. You know, brought up to date. If it is a little bit older, just I don't want to have to remodel or do any of that stuff.
Don't want to have to remodel or do any of that stuff. You want something that's a little more up to date. When you say up to date, can you explain a little bit more? Tell me uh, what's important about being up to date for you.
Well, I guess one of my main concerns is being in Florida. Uh, Want to have the hurricane impact glass.
Oh, hurricane impact glass. Yeah, that's really important, especially the kind of year we've had with hurricanes so far, right? I
Yeah,
get it.
I don't want
Okay,
to put
cool.
up
So
shutters. I'm a single woman. I don't want to put up shutters by myself, and I don't want to pay people, and I don't want to worry about it if I'm gone.
sure, that makes total sense. Okay, so you don't want any steps. You want it on one level. You want a unit that's updated, right? 2 bedrooms with hurricane glass. What else is important about this community, the condo community, and things like that that would be important to you?
Well, I like to, be active and work out and swim and meet people. Like I said, I'm a single woman, so it'd be nice to, get to know people and some sort of social activities available to me.
Awesome. Social activities, working out's pretty important to you, and things like that. What kind of social activities can you tell me more about that?
Oh, I mean, just meeting people, getting together, maybe some wine tastings or just having classes. Maybe they have something, classes in the pool or just ways to like interact with people in your community. Maybe there's volunteer opportunities or playing cards or I'm not a golfer, so I'm not interested in golf, but tennis,
Okay.
something like that.
All right. Sounds good. Not a golfer. I get it. And so you want other activities like being able to play cards, just other items to be able to get together with your neighbors and get to know them, volunteer communities, things like that. Is that correct? Did I
Yeah.
hear you? Okay. Awesome. So tell me, what area do you want this condo in?
Oh, I like to be able to walk to things too, like coffee shops and farmers markets and you know,
Okay, so you want a condo that's in an area that you can walk to coffee shops and farmers markets and things like that.
yeah, restaurants. I don't want to always get in my car
Okay.
and do everything.
Oh, you don't always want to get in your car. Okay, cool. All right. Awesome. Okay, so and Vicky, can you tell me a little bit more about what your time frame looks like? What when would ideally you like to be living in this new condo?
Well, I've been in the process of downsizing for a while, so probably in the next month and a half to 2 months.
The next month and a half to 2 months? Awesome, awesome. Well, you picked a great time to start looking. So now you said start downsizing. Does that mean you have a house that you have to sell first?
Actually, no, I'm just renting, but it's the place is a little bit too big for me now, so I don't really need all the stuff I have. I just want a space that I can take care of on my own. That's more convenient. I don't want to have to hire cleaning ladies and all that kind of stuff. I want to be able to take care of it myself.
Sure, that makes sense. And you want a space that you can maintain on your own and not have to have cleaning ladies and things. That makes sense. So let me ask you this. So you said in the next 1 to 2 months. So based on how our buying process, are you familiar with how, have you ever bought a property before by any chance?
Yeah.
You have? Okay, cool. So have you ever bought a property in Florida?
No.
Okay. So right now we're right around that 30 to 45 day closing mark. And then you have 30, 45 days to, find a property ideally. So right there, we're 2 months into a process to find you find your property and get you located in the property. Does that make sense?
Hmm.
By the way, I guess that brings me around full circle. When you buy a property, are you going to be paying cash or are you going to require financing?
Well, I can put money down, but yes, I would like to. I need to do financing.
Okay, so that goes into that timeline as well. So you'll need a little bit of time to get the financing situated and things like that. And I can definitely help you with that. Cool. So let me ask you this, Vicky. If that 2 bedroom condo popped on the market today and it was, no stairs, it was totally updated, it was your dream condo in a dream community where you could just have all the activities that you could possibly imagine for you to take part in, and it was at a killer price, would you jump on that property today?
Oh yeah.
Okay, awesome. So then what we need to do is go ahead and schedule a time for us to get together and create a strategy, a smart home buying strategy, so that you're prepared when the time comes to jump on that condo and beat out all the other buyers that are looking for that same condo. Does that make sense?
Yeah, a lot of sense.
Okay. So what would work better for you? Saturday at 3 or would 4 o'clock work better?
4 o'clock is fine.
4 o'clock. Okay. And are you in West Palm right now or where are you located?
Yes, I'm in West Palm.
Okay, awesome. All right, so we'll cut there. So let's pick that conversation apart, and then I want you to have the same conversation or similar conversation. Okay. So what did you learn from me asking you questions? What questions did I ask you?
Well, it kind of kept drilling down on my why I wanted these certain things and repeated what I said to make sure I under to make sure you understood what I said.
Yes, absolutely. So there's a couple things there. So I repeated everything that you said, or I tried to, right? So why is that important?
But- So I felt heard and that um, you were listening.
Yes, right. So one is one that tells the person that you're listening and they feel heard. And the other part, let me tell you the gold in this.
Mhm.
For you making phone calls, another reason you want to repeat everything that somebody says is because it gives you a little bit of time to think about what you're going to say next. Your brain only needs a couple seconds to pivot to the next question,
Mhm.
and it takes out a lot of the us and the dead air when you just stop and you can repeat somebody's question and you just repeat it slower. The more time you need, the slower you repeat the question, or not repeat the question, but repeat what they said. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah.
Okay. That's what telemarketers do. So you can do that. So repeat the question, or repeat what they say, and then always drill deep. Now we try to go 3 whys deep, but being that you were looking for a condo, I found it a little bit more difficult to go, 3 whys deep on the 2-bedroom type thing. I kind of already had an idea where you were and why you needed 2 bedrooms condo, right?
Yeah.
But I might be able to go like, say if somebody said 3 bedrooms in a house, I would drill down on 3 bedrooms. I want to find out the familial situation, right? Who's going in that house? Who's going to be living there? What's their family look like? I want them to paint me a picture, if that makes sense.
Uh-huh.
And so you told me you're a single lady and you like activities. I mean, you just told me all kinds of stuff. So that was relatively an easy call, but it was a good example of what a perfect call can be like. Okay.
That would be a pretty good call, huh?
Yeah. So what else did you learn from that?
Um,
Anything else that you noticed?
well, just that you were trying to narrow things down of
We're trying to narrow it.
narrow things down and rule out asking unnecessary questions, I guess.
Yeah. Did I go why, when, and what pretty much in that order?
Yeah.
I started with what, but I teed it up with why, right? And then I kind of stay on the why. So when I got to the financing question, do you remember how I asked it?
I said, would I need financing?
Yes. Do you remember how so the question that I asked, and this is something important for you to note, okay, as a new agent.
Uh-huh.
When you ask somebody about financing, ask them if they're going to pay cash or require financing, but ask in that order. Do you know why that's important?
I don't know.
Okay, so if you ask somebody if they're going to require financing or paying cash, it sounds different than if you say, are you going to be paying cash or are you going to require financing? So if somebody's paying cash and you ask them if they're getting financing first, it could insult them, or they can kind of feel a little bit insulted. And we don't want to make them feel that way. So, but on the other hand, if somebody's going to get financing and we ask them if they're going to pay cash, it makes them feel good, right?
Mhm.
So just always ask if they're going to pay cash or financing, and then that's the only thing I needed to add there. But okay, so you ready to flip the script and go ahead and try to convert me now?
I'll try. Can you put it back up to the? Oh,
Oh,
I got
yep,
it. Okay.
yep. Can you see it?
Yes. Hmm, do I know your
Tell me
name?
when you're ready. Yeah, yeah. You can know. So you're not going to really. Did I ever? I said your name, um, and I guess in that way, I never really asked your name, did I? In the script when we were going on our call, we never really. But I end up saying it anyway, and it didn't really matter. So the main thing I want you to know is that we don't say their name in our intro on purpose. Do you know why?
In case it's not the right, not that.
Yes, you call me and ask for Doug, and one that tells me you're what? You're a telemarketer, right? And I'm
Yeah.
probably going to hang up. So, no kidding, I got at least 8 calls today from telemarketers. So I would not ever say the person's name in the intro. Just say your name
Okay.
and that they're looking in that area, and move on with it. You could say their name later on because you want, if they're still talking to you, that's the person, right? So, all right, let's roll with it. You tell me when you're ready and we'll ring ring.
Okay. I'm ready.
Ready? Ring ring.
Hi, this is Vicky Staler, and sorry. This is Vicky Staler. I saw you were on my website looking in the West Palm Beach area, and I was just curious. Are you looking to move in the next 3 to 6 months, or just browsing?
Just browsing.
Awesome. Just curious. What are you browsing for?
You know, I'm not really sure. Yeah, I was just kind of, I feel like kicking tires at this point, but You know, a nice 3-bedroom house eventually would be nice.
A 3-bedroom house and somewhere down the road. Is that in the near future, or do you see that farther out?
You know, when the right house comes on the market, we're prepared to buy it. So
Oh, oh,
yeah.
okay. So if it's the right house, it might be something that you're willing to look at. Why do you need a 3-bedroom house? Do you have a family or just more space?
Well, 3 bedrooms, one because it's me and my wife, and we have one kid, and then we use the other office for work at home.
Oh, nice. Um, and okay, now I'm losing track. Sorry. And I need another why, right?
Yeah,
uh,
just repeat what I said and dig deep on what I just give you.
okay. Okay, great. So wife and um, said one kid, right? Wife and
Yeah.
one kid. Oh, that's great. So schools would be important to you then as well? Or-
Um, yes, actually, schools are important to me.
Okay, great. West Palm Beach has some amazing uh, schools here, and are oh, okay. Are you looking for you said a home? So oh, see, I'm not doing very good, am
You're
I?
okay. You're
um,
doing fine. You're doing fine. You're going there. You can go the right direction. There's 2 ways you can go there. Okay. We'll stop and pause just for a second. So when
um,
I said it's just me and my wife, we have one kid and a one bedroom for an office. Okay. There's probably more than 2 ways, but 2 most obvious ways that I see are, one is awesome. So okay, you have a kid, cool. So I have a couple kids myself. Just curious, are schools then, because you have kids, are schools important to you in this search? And I just ask them and never assume. Okay. Because some people are like, nah, I don't care. They can go to whatever public school. And then other people will be like, yes, schools are really important. So we let them answer that. So that's one way. And you went down that route. But another way you could go is just ask them about, oh, awesome. You work from home. Tell me more about that. What do you do?
okay.
Okay. Now tell me more about that. That's what I want you to write down. Tell me more about that. So whenever I say something, repeat it and then say, hey, can you tell me more about this? Why is this or what's that? And you'll get it. Just say, tell me more. Tell me more is really, really important. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So let's pick up right there. 3 bedrooms, me and my wife, my kid, and I need a office because I work from home. Now go.
Awesome. So you work from home. That's great. Uh, Tell me more about that. What do you do?
Well, actually, I'm a sales trainer, and I pretty much do it mostly from home now. I can jump online and run conversion calls on like Zoom and stuff like that. And so I basically train people all over the country.
Oh,
So
fantastic. So what does your wife do?
uh,
That's too personal.
no, it's no, well, I think it's easier for you to either stay on that and say, awesome, you're a sales trainer, cool. So tell me more about that. Like, have you been doing that for a long time? Is retirement in your near future, or what's your plan there? Obviously, you're moving to Florida, and we get a lot of retirees. I'm just curious. Are you, what's your outlook, your work outlook look like? And then he may tell you some stuff there, right? Or you can bounce back to the kid thing, and you have some stuff to uncover there.
Okay. Um, okay. Oh, so yeah, I have a couple kids too. I've moved around the country a lot, and it was always important for me to find schools, great school systems and things as well, and also neighborhoods with kids. And is that something that's important to you?
Yes, neighborhood is very important to me. I would like to be in a neighborhood that does have some kids for Johnny to go outside and play with.
Great, fantastic. So Want your kids to have lots of friends. That's always that's always fun.
Yep.
The parents too. um, uh, and where were you moving from again? I'm sorry, I missed that part.
Moving from Cincinnati. Yep.
So coming down to Florida and you're working from home, is this kind of a more of a career move, or are you looking to? Are you going to be um, on a retirement path soon?
Yeah, I want to retire in the next 5 years or so. So that we're just kind of moving it up early, because of, this COVID situation. We're working from home a lot more now. And I'm like, why stay in cold Cincinnati when I can go to Florida? And my wife, is getting transferred. She's a nurse, and she's got a job offer at West Palm Hospital.
Oh wow, that's fantastic. Yeah, I moved from Chicago a couple years ago, so I totally understand getting out of the cold. um, and it's a great place to be. There's so much going on here in West Palm, and great things to do with families, and for your work. I'm sure it would be a awesome place to be. Um, okay, I'm stuck.
Well, what do you know about my house so far that I want?
So you're looking for a 3-bedroom. Do you need a couple of bathrooms and
Back up. Don't ask that. Just ask. Tell me more about the house situation that's
tell me
important to you.
more about the house that you see. Like what does your dream house look like?
Okay. Yeah. So as I mentioned, 3 bedrooms. We like to have a big backyard that's fenced in, um, on the water if possible. We like to boat.
Oh wow, fantastic! So big backyard on the water and you like to boat. So
Mhm.
something that might include a boat slip for you would be something you might be more interested in looking at.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I boat every weekend, so I need to be on the boat. And so if it's got good access to the ocean, that'd be great.
Mhm.
And then we want to be in a community with a lot of kids, like I mentioned before, and I don't want to pay extremely high HOA dues or anything like that if they're decent. And I like to have some activities to, be close to things, not feel like we're so far out
Right.
if possible.
So, are you looking for a more established neighborhood then? Because some of the newer communities have the HOA fees, and so you might maybe some of the more established communities would be something that would help out with that.
Yeah, that sounds good. I mean, I don't want too old of a house, but as long as it's, you know, updated, we're good with that.
Right. So you want something more updated. I can relate to that. Um, okay. Uh, um, I gotta keep asking questions.
Why, when, and what. Okay.
Um,
When you feel like you got a good picture of the house, move to the when. And then you got some why. So move to the when and then set an appointment with me.
yeah, that's a pretty good picture of the house, don't you think?
Yeah.
Um, so if everything was perfect for you, we found the right house. When would you want to be situated in your new home?
Um, well, I think when the right house pops on the market, I mean, if it came on in the next week or so, we would jump on it. There's nothing really holding us back.
Great. So nothing holding you back. You don't need to sell anything before you come down.
Nope.
Excellent, excellent. That's a good situation to be in. um, so okay, now I go to what? What?
Well, the what is the house.
Okay.
So you got an idea that if you feel like you're good there, you don't need a lot, right? You got the why. I'm moving down there because we want to be. Well, you could dig deeper on the why. Why is it important for me to be in Florida? Why did I pick Florida? Stuff like that. that you could go down and ask. Those are the why questions. That's what we're trying to uncover. Because when you go to sell somebody on something, right, it comes time to write a contract. And you ever have, well, and I realize you're a new agent, but there'll be times when you're in there and you're getting ready to, you're like carting people around, showing them houses, you think they're motivated, and then it comes time to write an offer, and then it feels like they get cold feet or they disappear or whatever. How do you get people off the fence? It's knowing their why, knowing the pain and the pleasure behind them buying something. So do you have enough pain and pleasure with me? Do you know why I want to move to Florida? Well, you did know, I did tell you I'm moving out of the cold. So we know there's kind of one pain point, right? I'm moving toward heat, pleasure, right? Tropical, right? So you got some things there to use down the line. If you're out showing me properties and I get cold feet, I'm like, I don't know about this one. And you're like, well, this house checked all your boxes, right? It has this and this. What is it? What box didn't it check? And then you would move to say, well, this will help you get from point A to point B and get out of the cold, and and get into the tropical destination. So what is it that's holding you back? What's causing you to hesitate?
Okay.
And that's your ammo to move somebody to that next step. Because if you solve those issues for that person, you can get them over to the finish line. Does that make sense?
Right.
Okay. So let's just recap of our conversation here. Do you feel like you could get a little more why out of me? So yeah, so what you do is just circle back around and say, hey, listen, I know we talked about this a little bit, but I'm still curious. I know you're moving to Florida. You want to get out of the cold. What else is it about this area that appeals to you?
Okay.
Okay, so you could ask that, and get a little bit more there. Now, let's pretend you did that. Okay, and I'm going just to keep this call moving forward and everybody get some gold out of this thing. Is we're going to pretend that you asked that, and I said, well, I love this area. I love West Palm Beach because I got family that lives there, and I spent my summers there, quite a few summers as I was growing up. So I'm like connected to that area. Okay. Let's pretend I give you that information already. Now I want you to go to the closing, because this is where a lot of people miss the boat on closing this. Okay. And here's what I want you to do. Recap as best as you can and give me like what I call a dream home close. So I want you to recap everything as much as you can, detail, and make it sound, put that pleasure, man, pack that pleasure in there and how it's going to solve my issue. And if that house pops on the market today, would you jump on it? And I say yes, then I want you to ask that closing question, that next step, because that's where people chicken out. And I don't want you to chicken out. You're going to be an awesome agent. You know how I know?
How?
Because you raised your hand on this call in front of like 100 some people. So you're going to be awesome. You ready? All right. So let's do that. Now you recap and close me. Ready?
Great. Well, it's November and the weather's getting cold, and it sounds like you're ready to move if something, your dream home pops up, and the great 3-bedroom house with the wonderful backyard and access to the water so you can boat every weekend, and your wife has a great job and your kids are in great schools, and I'm losing track. And you've been, family down here, and it's going to be the holidays pretty soon. So it sounds like this is a perfect time for you to start looking around, and I can help you with that. When will you be in town? Will you be in town to visit your family soon?
It's funny you mentioned that. Yeah, great question. It's funny you mentioned I'll be in there next week. I'll be down in West Palm Beach next week.
Oh, fantastic. Does Wednesday work for you, like 3 or 4 in the afternoon?
What do we need to do Wednesday?
I'd just like to meet with you in person, and I can show you some of the things that I'll research for you. I've got a few areas in mind, a few neighborhoods in mind that I think would be perfect, and we can kind of drill down from there, and maybe even pop out to see some things.
Well, I think what we'll do is when we come down, we'll just kind of drive around and and look at a couple areas. Can you just send me a couple areas, maybe a couple houses?
Of course, I can send you something. So now I'm stuck.
I did it on purpose. Okay. All right. So here's what we're gonna do. All right. Let me reverse the roles here, and I'm gonna do the same thing, but I'm gonna be talking to you now. Okay. So all right. Here's how it goes. So all right, Vicky. So you said you want to be in West Palm Beach, 3 bedrooms, um, and you need good school district because your kid's gonna be down here, and you want a neighborhood that has plenty of kids for your kid to play with. And let's see, it needs to be golf access with quick access to the open water because you like to be on it every weekend. So let me ask you this. I think I got a good idea what you're looking for. So if that 3 bedroom golf access property in a good community, like a dream community, popped on the market and it was at a crazy awesome price, would that be something that you would jump on?
Yeah, like I said, we're ready to to move with this.
Great.
I know it's a seller's market, so there's not a lot on, there's not a lot of inventory. So, um,
You know what, Vicky? You're absolutely right. There isn't a lot of inventory, but I got great news. So we have some systems where we can actually find properties that are off-market properties like expireds, pre-foreclosures, foreclosures, estate sales, things like that. So let me ask you again, just to make sure I'm on the same page as you, okay? If that dream home popped on the market, you would jump on it, right?
yeah, I would.
Great. All right. So I have access to systems that other realtors don't really have access or care to use. So I think what we need to do is go ahead and get together for about 30 minutes, give or take. Depends on how many questions you have. What we'll do is we'll jump into those systems. I'll show you some other systems that we use to find properties in case your dream home property pops up on one of those systems, and you can jump on it and beat out all the other buyers. Does that make sense?
Wow, I didn't know that you could do that. That's great.
Absolutely. I'm happy to show it to you. So let's schedule that time. I'll put it on the calendar. That way we have that booked off. Would Friday or Saturday work better for you?
Saturday looks good.
Saturday looks good. Perfect. 2 or 3, which one of those would work better for you?
Oh, 2 o'clock's fine.
2 o'clock's fine. Okay, cool. Do you have a pen and paper handy? I'm going to give you some information here.
Sure, I do.
Actually, I'll tell you what I'll do is I'm going to text you my address to my office.
Hmm.
And if you have any issues, can you do me one huge favor?
Sure.
I'm going to do a lot of homework here to get prepared for this appointment. I'm going to dig through some properties that aren't on the market yet, some coming soon, some pre-foreclosures, things like that, and see if there's anything that matches. If you could just do me a huge favor, because I'm going to spend so much time on this. If anything comes up that changes our appointment time or anything like that, would you please just, give me a call and let me know that we need to reschedule?
Absolutely.
Awesome. Okay. So what I'll do then, Vicky, I've penciled you down for 2 o'clock on Saturday. I'm so happy and I look forward to meeting you then, and we'll get you started on your dream home search.
Fantastic. It takes
Okay.
a big weight off.
All right. Cool. So do you see how I did that now? I was tying it all to what he wants. Okay. Making the dream home close. The one thing that we didn't talk about that I did add in there that anybody could add in there. Do you have access to pre-foreclosures? Do you have access to expireds? I mean, here's an easier one. So everybody goes, I don't know. A lot of people say, I don't know. Yes, you do have access to pre-foreclosures. It's relatively easy to get. You can get them on like Red X, Vortex, things like that. In your search your county website, you got pre-foreclosures on there. Most people don't do that, but if you do that, you can find deals on there. But Red X and Vortex has your expireds, or just go on your MLS and find expireds. Here's another one. Go on your MLS and find properties that sold 5 years ago that match the criteria. A little bit less money that would appreciate it to today's home values, and see if any of those people want to sell, because now you have a buyer. That's called searching for off-market properties, right? So you got expires, and then do you have access to for sale by owners?
Are you asking me?
Yes. Yeah.
I I'm not. I think so.
Okay. Okay. This is for you and for everybody else. Write down, I want access to FSBOs, expireds, things like that. So figure out how to get access to those. Okay.
Uh-huh.
And I'm not saying you have to pay for things. A lot of those are free on like Zillow and things like that. But if you're willing to search for those properties, when you're on the phone with somebody and they feel like they ask you questions, they like, well, why do I need to get together or whatever? You just tell them, say, hey, listen, what we're going to do is we're going to sit down together. We're going to create a strategy, a smart home buying strategy, to where we can find you a home and make it a lot more of a convenient process for you, get you a better price so that you can beat out other buyers to your dream home. Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay, cool. And I'll get all your questions answered and get you started off on the right foot when the time comes. So when that house pops on the market, you don't want to be competing with other buyers. So we're going to get you all set up. So what time works better for you? And I give them a time. Or what day and then what time. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
Okay. What questions do you have?
Well, just when you offer the access to things that sound sort of exclusive, like the normal person wouldn't have access to. Just looking at realtor.com or something. I thought that was great.
Okay, awesome, awesome. Um, I yes, that's good. I'm looking at other questions on here too. Let me. Do you have anything else that you want to talk about, Vicky?
Um, no, I mean that was fantastic. I have my first role play really.
Yes, and you did great. You did absolutely great. Okay. I'm going to go through here. I'm going to answer some of these other questions so everybody gets value too. And let me take a few minutes to do that. So I'm going to mute you here real quick, Vicky, and let me know if there's anything I can do for you in the future. If you get stuck, I want you to reach out to us. Okay. My name is Doug Leugers. I'm at CINC University, but you can reach out to your success partner or on Facebook. Reach out to me with whatever you get stuck with, and I'll help you overcome it. Okay.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you for stepping up.
Okay.
Let's see. All right, let's go through here and answer some of these questions here real quick. Give me a second. All right. Okay, question and answer time. Let's see. We have, let me go back. Always. Hey, can we get a copy of your script? Yes, you should have a copy of your script. Jen, that was you asking that question, and a few others. If you reach out to your success partner for your CINC platform, if you don't know who that is, ask your team leader, and they'll tell you who your success partner is. And then you can reach out to them. If your team leader doesn't have access to the script, I mean, they should have that script already, but in the event that they don't, you can get it from your success partner. They'll email it to you. That's the easiest way to get that, okay? Um, Jennifer said, always think first responders. Absolutely. I do always think first responders. Can we get a copy of the buyer script and why, when, and where questions? Yes, absolutely. Hal Elrod, who were the other speakers that I recommended? Hal Elrod, Jesse Itzler, Itzler, and another huge one of my favorites right here. You ready for this? Ed Milet. Ed Milet, one of the best interviewers out there. Go and watch any of his videos, and you will be able to see all the motivation you need. Carolina, yes, you'll get the scripts. Just ask your team leader for those. And then if you all run into any issue getting a script, let me know. Okay. Friend me on Facebook, Doug Leugers, Leugers, and I will and just message me and I'll get you the script one way or the other. Okay. Do we have this Google Doc somewhere? Yes. I am a new ISA and I'm not an agent. I'm struggling with conversion, as most of the time when I call someone, I get angry responses like, I only signed up because I had to in order to view pictures, not because I wanted to. How did you get my number? Or I met with confusion. There's a lot there, Holly, to uncover. But most of the time when I'm coaching ISAs, it's tonality and not opening with the right intro. The right intro and tonality, and yeah, just doing those few things right out of the gate, and that's where the problem is most of the time. So if you just ask the right way, and assume that they know you and talk like they know you, you'll get through a lot more to these people. The reason they're saying things like that to you is because you're identifying yourself. They somehow or another, they know you're an ISA when you're calling. Okay. And so that's the number one thing. That's the piece of gold right there. You want them to think that you're a friend or a family member calling them, and that's how you want to talk to them. That's the kind of tonality. That's why you don't say their name, because it identifies who you are. So we can work on this more, Holly, on our next call. Let me know. Hopefully that helps. Why would you talk about canceling the appointment? Nathan, good question. Why would I talk about canceling the appointment? Because like we ISAs and or realtors, when you're setting lots of appointments, they have, I think it's, 60% of people show up, 60, 80% of people show up, but you still have that 20 to 40% that don't, that now they're registering on 7 other websites, right? So they're also talking to other realtors. Now, if you do your job and you dig deep on the whys, 3 whys deep, and you're getting a lot of conversation out of people, realtor organization, National Association of Realtors says that the first agent that has a meaningful conversation with the lead is usually the one that gets 80%, of the time they win the business. And so what I'm telling you is, when it comes to canceling, there's still going to be a percentage of those people that cancel. And I don't like wasting my time. And so what I do is I say, I don't really talk about the word, I don't try to use the word cancel. I don't know if I did on accident, but that's why I try to use the word reschedule. And I said, I think I said on that script role play there, I said, if we need to change or anything comes up, we can reschedule it. Does that make sense? And she said yes. So, but you want to have that in there, and I want to make them feel pain if they don't show up or if they just ghost me. I'm hoping I can tug on some of their guilt strings, so to speak, and make them feel guilty for rescheduling or not letting me know. Let's see. How do you recommend setting up a Zoom call? What are some Zoom tips? Good, great question, Cheryl. So pretty much the same thing, pretty much the same scripting. So I'm in Florida and most of our buyers are out of town. Okay. So what we do is we find out when they're going to be in town. That's number one thing we'll find out. So when will you be in town to look at properties? They'll give us a time and date. And I say, well, let me ask you this. If a dream home popped on the market that was 3 bedrooms, 2 baths on a canal in Cape Coral, would you jump on it? And they say yes. And I say, okay. So we get people that buy properties sight unseen all the time. So it's probably a good idea. Here's a service that we offer for free for all of our customers. We'll pop out and we'll do a video showing of a house before you get down here, and that way you can secure a property before you get down here, and then all you have to do is fly down and do your inspections and things like that. Does that make sense? And they say yes, and I say great. So let's do this. Why don't we go ahead and schedule a quick 15-minute, 30-minute Zoom call, depending on how many questions you have. I'll sit down, we'll create a smart home buying strategy so that we can be prepared for when that property pops on the market. We're in an extreme buyer's market. There's low inventory. And what I want to do is when that house pops on the market, we're going to try to make sure there's as less competition as possible by being ready and having that best foot forward. Does that make sense? And they say, yeah. And I say, okay, cool. What works best for you, Friday or Saturday? Or Wednesday or Thursday or whatever, however you want to go about that, depending on your schedule. So Hawaii is the same way. You just want to assume the sale. Yes, Nate, Natty, you should get a copy of the script. Let me know if you have any issues. I have a lot, Natty, you said you get a lot of prospects who already have an agent. So the people that say they have an agent, we're not worried about those. So what I do is when somebody says they have an agent, first and foremost, I don't stop my script. I still talk to them all the way through. 1, a lot of people are saying they have an agent when they really don't. 2, a lot of people say they have an agent when they think they have an agent, but they really don't have a solid relationship with the agent. It's just somebody they talk to. Okay. Somebody doesn't really understand their whys and their pains and pleasures and things like that. Somebody's just in it for a commission check. Okay. So what we want to do is really dig deep and create a relationship with this person regardless, because if they do, one, if they fire that agent, which has happened to us quite a few times, they call us and they say, hey, ready to do business with you. I didn't like that other agent, whatever. So go through the script, go 3 whys deep, find out their win, find out as much about, the property, but every time they give you a property feature, find out the why, 3 whys deep behind all that, and build a relationship with the person. And then after that, then you ask them, you say, listen, if this 4-bedroom, 3-bath house on a canal popped on the market, would you want me to send it to you, or are you committed to the other, like strongly committed to the other agent? And a lot of times they say, well, I'd want you to send it to me. Awesome. Okay. So let me ask you this. When you met with the other agent, how far in the process did you get with them? And what I'm trying to get them to do is tell me whether they signed anything or not, without blatantly asking if they signed anything. Most agents don't use exclusive buyer agency agreements. If they've signed an exclusive buyer agency agreement, we're not going to mess with them. Okay. That's, against realtor law. So we're not going to mess with them. But if they haven't, they're fair game. And then we're going to find their dream home and sell them a home. That's how we do that. Okay. Contact info in the chat. I can do that. Let's see. As soon as I figure out how to do it. Okay. It looks like that's all the questions that we have for today. Hopefully you guys got good value out of it, but if there's other questions that you all have, again, you can friend me on Facebook, send me a message, Doug Leugers, Leugers, friend me on there, ask me whatever questions you want. If not, you're going to see me on probably more of these calls helping out, and that's what I'm here for. So I'm glad you guys got to take part in it, and we will talk again soon. Thanks for joining us.